that would be with Brad's position. Since that time, I think it would really behoove this board to reconsider that decision. I know that there has been resumes submitted to the board. I've reviewed them. Judy knows I've reviewed them. Given me a packet. I think that we've all had packets. And going into next year, and probably the biggest project, reevaluation project within the town ever, we need the most qualified candidate to do the job. And I think that Brad would be the most qualified, even after review of the current resumes, although many of them had very good credentials. So with that being said, I would also make a motion that we reinstate the shared service agreement for assessment services with the town of Salina effective immediately, with all the same terms and conditions as set forth in the original agreement dated March 23rd, 2009.
So
That's in the form of motion.
Second.
Mr. Conway?
before you take the roll, I think there should be some discussion.
Let me start the discussion since everybody's quiet.
Well, no, let me start.
All right, if you're going to.
I was,
You're thinking.
yeah,
Okay.
forgive me.
That agreement says that the town is agreeing to pay 17 and a half hours a week, which is the hours that are the town of Salina, not the town of Cicero. Town of Cicero has 2,040 hours for a part-time, and Salina has 1,942 hours.
She's not full-time, 2,040.
That's full-time.
That's
Full-time, part-time. With that contract, it also states that we pay 100% of his, Brad, his benefits. He receives 5 weeks of vacation. It amounts to, today, $66 an hour. It would be going up from $94,000 to over $97,000 split between towns. Given the situation of what exists in the assessor's office and the fact that a assessor's aide was hired for $35,000 plus full benefits, that makes it more. It was also assumed that that person was supposed to be supervising when the supervisor or the assessor was not there. It is costing the town a substantial amount of money. As far as the $80,000 that was a possibility that we, the town of Cicero and the town of Salina, would get. And it's not a promise, it's not a guarantee, it is only if, and I have a copy of it, if we were to be a consolidated, not a shared services, and it's right here. It's a consolidation incentive aid. In order to do that, you have to form a local law first. We have no local law that was formed with the shared agreement. It has to go to permissive referendum, which is something that has not been done. Therefore, the contract that we have is not as a shared service only as a contract. It is nothing more than that. With that, it also says that there will be one assessor's office as a consolidation. It would be not shared, but only one between whatever town that you do so consolidate with. With that said, and with the amount of money that is being spent, I cannot even fathom that we would consider it. And I just can't imagine. It's unreal.
Well, I'll go ahead then. As Jim said, I read the resumes, there were 6 of them. And the first problem I had is, if we selected one individual, I have yet to meet the individual, have not talked to the individual, have no idea who the individual really is. I don't feel that at a time like this, with the magnitude of this assessment or reassessment, as somebody once said in here, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. We need to move forward with what Brad has done, and I think at this point he's done an excellent job. It's not an easy job. Maybe it's going to cost them some money, but in the long run, it's going to pay off. But to take somebody off the street, make them the assessor, and put them into an office where they know absolutely nobody, and probably very little about the town at this time, I think that's wrong. Now, the $80,000 that was just mentioned, we have nothing in writing saying, yes, we might get it, no, we're not going to get it. We need to have some solid documents, paper trails. But I think at this time, and I would say, as Jim said, we need to go and proceed forward as we have in the past and reinstitute the contract and bring Brad back into business.
The applications that came forward obviously met the skills that are required for an assessor. An assessor is an assessor. It's just different properties. The person that was highly recommended is an assessor's assistant assessor right now, the one that is most qualified. This person is very familiar with the town, has worked in this assessor's office in this town, and also lives in this town. Fully qualified, coming with high recommendations to fulfill the requirements. To step into, and also qualified and has been involved with a reassessment of a town. Any opportunity, you've had the packets for over a week, if you did so desire to speak to that person, no one has stopped you. You've had every opportunity, the phone numbers are there, the addresses are there, and where they work are there.
Well, I go back to another comment we made earlier tonight. It needs to be just more than one person interviewing. Now we're sitting here and you're saying within 5 days, Madam Supervisor, that we can look at 6 resumes in 5 days and make a decision. I have made my decision. I think we need to do, and I would second the motion that was presented by Mr. Corl, as I have already done. Ms. Zimbrano, do you have any input?
Well, I share the concerns. You know, this is a key position. It's going to pay $62,500 a year. I have concerns about the candidates. I'm not sure that you know, that we can take someone who's an assessor's clerk, you know, and put them in a situation right in the middle of a townwide reevaluation. I have asked, you know, that other people be involved in the interviewing and selection process, and that concept was not.
Yes, it was, Jessica. I asked Mr. Corl last Friday to please contact, and he agreed. Monday, I spoke with Mr. Corl, and he was too busy, and he did not. I called him yesterday, Tuesday, twice, and I called him twice today, understanding he was ill yesterday. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, I received a phone call from him, and he said he would speak with her before the board meeting. Did you do that?
I have not spoke with Ms. Del Fuco. which I think we're all referring to. If you take a look at the candidates, you look at resumes, I could speak to everybody on there, but it's nothing like having a face-to-face interview with them. With any, and I don't think that's the point. The point is having somebody going into a massive undertaking that this town is going to go through next year. Somebody who I could speak to, Ms. Delview, I could speak to everybody on there, but you really need to have a face-to-face evaluation of the individual. I got the information about a week ago. The letter was dated from Ms. Delfuco, I think May of this year, so perhaps this was all, I don't know why she would send a letter to the town of May seeking an assessor's job when there wasn't one open then. So I got it about a week ago, some other people have had it 6 or 8 months, I don't know. I know I haven't spoken.
That letter that came was in a file that just stated if there was ever an opportunity for a position, a full-time, knowing very well that it's shared, that she had some interest. When it was publicized to go out to hire, as we all agreed, and everyone on this board said yes, to send out. You did not agree when we said to go out and seek applications?
No.
I apologize then. Regardless, those applications came in with all of their references. They were interviewed by me as the liaison and the most qualified, obviously, to have the most knowledge of this department, along with a review of our comptroller of the HR department. After that process was done, they were giving to all of you in a package 4 recommendations. I asked for a recommendation, or for you, obviously, if you had questions to pursue that. None of you have done that. Is that not true? None of you have bothered to contact any of these people? No.
I didn't call any of them, but I read all their resumes, and I thought probably somebody was going to call them in so we could interview them all together, and it didn't happen. But like I say, I read them all, and it was questionable on one, and 5 of them I would not recommend. So
Let me ask you this, Mr. Corl and Mr. Conway. What has been the past practice on hiring? Have you all sat and interviewed each individual?
normally we have.
You have?
When they come in for anything, yes.
And can you give me a name of someone that you've done for them?
I don't really think that has any bearing at this point.
Well, it
on this.
certainly does, because I'm trying to
I know.
establish.
What I'm saying is every time something's mentioned, we talk about past practice. Because it's past practice doesn't make it right. We need to move forward as a new board, doing what this town asked for. We're doing a 100% re-eval. I think we have the most capable people in that office right now to conduct this. They've been doing a fine job, as far as I know, in the past, whatever time GAR associates and came on board. And I think we just need to stay in the stream that we're in and get the job accomplished. Period.
Call the question, Tracy.
Mr. Conway?
The question.
I would like to adjourn this for 2 weeks so we could have a chance. I mean, I just got mine last week, that we could review this before we make a decision.
Okay.
Make that as a motion.
No, there's a motion on the table.
Yeah, there's a
Either
motion
vote yes or
on
no.
Okay,
There's a motion and a second.
so Mr. Conway,
I'm going to say no.
Mr. Jennings,
Yes.
Miss Moreno,
What's the question?
To his motion.
with Mr. Corl,
To
Dave.
reinstate the,
To
I vote to reinstate, yes.
Mr. Corl,
Yes.
Miss Blakey.
No.